What's up guys? Well, I'm sure as you've all seen, we were blessed this weekend with a visit from 3-time world champion and absolute legend bodyboarder Jeff Hubbard. Now Jeff, I'm sure I speak on behalf of the entire British bodyboarding community when I say how welcome you are and how excited we are to have you here. Jeff flew in on a whistle-stop tour promoting his and his brother's awesome brand HUBBOARDS.
I just coming over to Cornwall to promote HUBBOARDS and to visit all the bodyboarders here and just have a good time at the shops and have some Guinness, some Cornish pasties and see the beautiful beaches of Cornwall. It's awesome.
Now I was lucky enough to sit down with Jeff and ask him a few questions. Here at Bodyboard Holidays, we're interested in delving into the mind of the man that's widely considered to be the best bodyboard aerialist of all time. We asked him a series of meticulously thought out questions and put together the ultimate guide to busting big airs on a bodyboard. So without further ado, let's hear from the man himself about how he built a career around going bigger and better than everyone else. So, the ultimate guide to busting big airs on a bodyboard. I've read before that EPO was your inspiration for busting huge airs. Can you explain how you got into busting airs, and did you set out to become the best in the world at them with a structured approach to achieving it?
Yeah, that sounds like a college essay right there, doesn't it? That was like a tongue twister. You know, go step by step. But no, really, I just, when I was a kid, you know, bodyboarding, you watch all the videos and you're just having so much fun. And I remember just being in the water and saw one of my friends do an air, like, you know, and like he was lucky enough, I was lucky enough that I was in the water and they started teaching me how to do it. Like, oh no, you can do it too, you know, which was pretty cool. You know, the older guys always teaching the younger guys back then, and it was something that was pretty rad. They just, you know, they told me to pop off the lip, and were really great at explaining how to do it. And so we, you know, just had started that way when I was really young. And you know, of course, I wasn't the best at it, but it was something I learned to do pretty well. And I just found over the years, like, it was something that surfers, you know, couldn't do back then. You know, that was something they weren't doing big airs. They weren't, you know, airs were something really different that bodyboarders could do that they couldn't. So you get a lot of notoriety from the surfing community. And back then it was, you know, where I came from on Kauai, was, you know, mostly I mean, there was a lot of bodyboarders too, but I mean, you always wanted to get respect from everyone. So respect was a pretty big deal in Hawaii. So I always, you know, tried to get air to get noticed. And I remember my first, you know, I didn't start getting, you know, covers until I started doing it, you know, doing more airs. Like that's how that's how I would get photos when I started bodyboarding in the magazines, and that's how you know, become sponsored and you create a career, is like getting these photos in the magazines and videos and all that. So that's because I was doing good airs and bigger airs, I started getting these photos. So naturally you do more of them and you just keep doing them, and pretty soon you have to do bigger airs and bigger airs to get more and more photos. And so that's just what I did. That's just, I made a career out of, you know, just having fun doing airs. And it was something I liked to do. Luckily I was, you know, good at it and really enjoyed, you know, flying around and getting the attention. Yeah. And I got a, you know, career out of it for a while. So it was really cool.
And so it's often overlooked, but one of the main skills of busting airs is the identification of a great section to do it. Not just the obvious end section air bowls, but down the line sections or coming out of a barrel. Your eye for this is second to none. How did you achieve that?
Well, I mean, like you're stating, there's like so many different ways to do air, so many sections, and every wave's different. I think that's the main catalyst, is that every wave is different, so you have to be able to do an air on every single type of wave. And so you practice, you wanted to do like airs out of the bowls, you want to do 360 airs or air forwards, and so you have to practice all these types of maneuvers off the lip, on the whitewater. You know, sometimes if you want to do a reverse air, well, you have to practice doing a reverse 360 first. You can't just do one in the air. So you naturally have to be good at doing a 360 off the whitewater. So if you can bank a good reverse 360 off the whitewater, well, you know, eventually you'll be able to do that in the air, off an air section, and get some air off it, and so on and so forth. So you just do everything in stages and kind of learn to do it that way. And you know, if you have a section that's like, you know, bending out a certain way, you have to learn how to do that maneuver off that section. If, hey, I want to do an air reverse, I'm tired of doing a backflip. You know, there's so many times you're like, oh, I've done like 10 backflips today.
It gets tiring doing the backflip.
Yeah. So okay, so let's do something else. So you got to, you know, figure out how to do a rotation off a certain section coming out of the bowl, or doing an invert out of that same section. You know, there's so many variations, you know, to every move, and because of the waves are all different, it just comes down to that. Every wave is, you know, bends a little differently, or hooks, sets up a little differently. So you want to be able to do these moves
During a Riptide podcast a few years ago, there was an in-depth discussion about why your airs happen to be bigger than other riders. Considerations were made that you were lighter than other riders and that your board was bigger, but both of these were disproved. Using a scientist's opinion, they concluded it was purely down to timing and the fact that you're so good at hitting the lip at exactly the right time. What do you attribute this skill to?
Well, yeah,
how can others learn that skill? I mean, it's true, your timing, just when I watched reruns of you and you just seem to just hit that lip exactly the right time. I mean, how do you practice for that?
Yeah, you practice hitting the lip. You just have to practice hitting the lip and learning like what's going to throw you. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, once you learn what feels good and what's actually working, you can replicate it. You know, it takes a while to like, okay, you're hitting the lip and oh, that's not working and it's too late, I'm too early. And eventually, once you do it right, you realize how it feels, and then you can try and replicate that again and again. It's like doing a science project. You know, you're doing some chemical analysis and you play around, and finally you get it right, and then you can recreate that more often and more often.
So basically, just practice.
It's practice, trial and error. Yeah, and you know, like because there's so many different types of waves and so many different sections, you do have to like learn how to read the waves, and that's one of the things. And I think one of the main things about getting air is learning how to get speed. You know, you want me to be able to get speed, and I think maybe it's because my boards aren't necessarily bigger, but they're wider, so I can get more speed, and so that gives me more air.
It's all very well finding a massive bowl, but then hitting it and landing it takes an incredible amount of courage. It's true, I can honestly say I've never seen you shy away from hitting a section, however mutant it is. You always try to land your moves as well. What have you done to prepare your mind and body to hit these mutant ramps and actually land?
I'll pull away a few times nowadays if there's like no one taking a photo these days. About
they
it,
don't
like,
make
what?
the edit.
Yeah, I was like, no one's taking a photo of this. Why would I try and kill myself? There's no reason to hit this 10-foot lip. You know, I could perish. But
do you ever get scared? Because it looks like you don't.
No, but I'll pull like, a pipe if there's like the section isn't absolutely perfect. I sometimes won't hit it because it's not. You're gonna get injured. You're gonna fly the wrong way. You know, but if the section's perfect and it doesn't matter how big it is, I'm gonna hit it. You know, if it's just, if it's a good section and it's big, I'm gonna try and hit an air off it.
And is there any particular exercise diet that you feel that you need to keep on top of in order to have the strength, fitness, and courage to actually hit those?
It's a lot of core work. I mean, the best way to protect your back from getting hurt in these situations is, having a strong core. So I make sure to do, I did a lot of stretching before your surf, but like in the morning when I wake up, I do a lot of stretching, whole stretch routine, core workout, the whole nine.
So is there any equipment that you can recommend in order to bust in bigger airs?
Oh, just buy a Hubbard. No, just kidding. No, I mean, but I think some of the guys who do the bigger airs are running bat tails. Getting them more airs. I mean, it just gives you a little more lift off the sections and gives you more speed. So I think that's something that's always given me an advantage when doing airs. And I like using a bat tail and I get more speed from it, and it's easier to launch and easier to do big reverse airs and you get more pop and more lift. So that's something I like. So a little bit extra speed when you have a wider board. You can do more, do bigger airs on smaller waves. Everyone can go maybe do an air on a perfect 6-foot bowl, a wedge, everyone can do that. But if you're just riding a normal beach break to go out there and you actually go out there and do like an air reverse, that's a different story. Not too many people can do that. So that's something, you get with a little wider template, you can get more speed and, do bigger moves on more average waves.
Just a quick fire then, what are the top 5 best waves for boosting airs in the world?
Ooh, I would say, well, there's that Mandurah wedge. There's a wedge into wedge and backwash. I mean, that Mandurah wedge is pretty sweet in Australia.
Yeah.
That's a good air wave for sure. Every wave looks pretty easy to do a big air. I would say like Nuggen, obviously, on the south coast of Australia. That's just kind of a blatant big reef ramp. Teahupoo, I think Fronton has some rather large air bowls coming at it. It's just like another reef peak on wedge on reef. Pipeline, of course, is notorious for big ramps. That's where I like to surf.
If you could give just one tip to a rider that wanted to learn to bust big airs, what would it be?
Practice, and you don't have to practice on, good waves. I practice on the worst waves. I would surf really bad waves and have fun and it just practice your timing, because if you're surfing in small waves, you have to have your timing has to be better because the wave's breaking even faster. So if you can surf pretty good in small waves, you'll definitely be able to surf good in pretty good conditions, because your timing's that much better. So, and you've practiced the moves so much more. You get a lot more repetitions in small waves as well. If you're surfing big waves, you only get about a couple chances every session to like do something, you know, when the wave comes together. But if you're surfing small waves, you can practice a lot. So, I mean, it's really just, yeah, it's practice and how much reps you can get in.
Jeff Hubbard, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk us through that. I guess it's just down to us now to get out there and bust some big airs.
Just do some big inverts. Just have fun. I mean,
thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
nice
Chris.
to sit and talk to you.
Pleasure.
Nice one, brother.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. You can subscribe to our channel here. Watch more instructional clips right here. And if you want to subscribe to our mailing list, then please check it out in the link below.